That was weird. I pressed the go live and it was live on my end. It was recording and it just didn't get it didn't tell YouTube to go live. Everything was on my end, but it didn't flick over on I don't know. That was really strange. Very, very strange. But we're here now. I hope everyone finds it wherever I think they're stuck in the old one. Let me just see if I can kill the old one off. I just edit it and hide it. I'm on the wrong account. That would help. Let me get to the right account and I'll just kill it off so people can't, Let me just make this private. Until errors are resolved. Oh, is that what it wanted? I think it wanted me to tell it whether it was for children or not. I think that's what was going on. It wouldn't let me go live or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, we're here. We're here. I hope everyone finds it within a couple of minutes. I'm sorry about that. I've done 100 streams on YouTube and never had that. But yeah, all right. Let's get going. There's been so much happening in the mushroom investigation in the last probably 24 hours. There's been a lot, and I'm gonna show it to you. First off, there's an update, so we're gonna have a look at that. Courtesy of Channel 9 Australia, Channel 9, 9now.com or 9news.com. And I will show it to you because it's very interesting. It's got some interesting details. Here we go. Let me mute myself.
To provide an update in relation to the death of 3 people which occurred late last week as a result of suspected mushroom poisoning. Firstly, I'd like to say that because the Homicide Squad is investigating this matter, it doesn't automatically mean that the deaths are suspicious. I can say that at this point in time, the deaths are unexplained, and for that purpose, we are involved and we are working as hard as we can to try and identify why these deaths have happened and the circumstances surrounding same. What I can tell you is that on Saturday the 29th of July, just over a week ago, 4 elderly people went to an address in Leongatha to take part in a lunch. At that location there was another person present and also 2 children. Lunch was had and the 4 people left the address, and unfortunately late on the Saturday night, early Sunday morning, they came down with symptoms of some type of food poisoning. As a result, they attended local hospitals in the area, being Leongatha and Currumborough, and subsequently they were conveyed off to other hospitals in Melbourne and ended up at the Austin Hospital where they were treated for their symptoms. Unfortunately, on Friday, 2 of those people that were present at the lunch passed away, and again on Saturday, a 3rd person passed away. The fourth person that was invited to the dinner is still alive, however, remains in a critical condition and is being treated, as I've said earlier, at the Austin Hospital. Further, what I can tell you in relation to this, that on Saturday the 5th of August, members from the Homicide Squad executed a search warrant at the residential address in Leongatha where the luncheon took place. A 48-year-old female from that address was interviewed by Homicide Squad investigators, and she was released late Saturday evening pending further inquiries being conducted. The 2 children that were present at the lunch on the Saturday the 29th of July, they did not receive any injury.
We're going to speak more on the the person they interviewed, I have another interview with her, and she has a few things to say. So once we're done with this one, we're going to see what she has to say. And please consider her a suspect at the moment in the deaths of the three people that she had at lunch for her house. A lot of people think it's very suspicious that if you were cooking a meal, why would you not test the food or eat the food with the people you've invited over? Some people say that the kids is a bit different. Kids are picky eaters. They might, have chicken nuggets or something instead of having what the adults are eating. So, yeah, we're gonna hear from her straight after this. All right.
Or symptoms, because we believe that they may have had a different meal to those others that had been there. So the investigation is continuing at this point in time, and our thoughts are with the family of those people that have passed away, and also the person that remains alive at this point in time. I do ask people to out in the community to think about mushrooms that they may have picked out in paddocks, farms, whatever it might be. Please think about whether they are you should eat them. My suggestion is, if you haven't purchased them from a supermarket or something like that, perhaps stay clear of them. But again, we're working very hard in relation to this, and hopefully we can provide some answers to the families of our deceased people. And obviously, at some point, we will be providing a report for the coroner in relation to what has occurred. That woman has not presented with any symptoms. So again, that forms part of our investigation, whether she did or didn't eat any of the mushrooms or anything else that may have been eaten on that particular day.
Do we know what the meals were that the adults ate and what the children ate specifically?
They were different meals, and again, I won't go into detail, but we do believe we know what the meals were that the people ate on that particular day.
Have we confirmed what type of mushroom it was that they consumed?
No, and again, we are presuming at this point it's mushrooms. The symptoms that these people presented with are that of death cap mushrooms, and again, we're working closely with Department of Health and, of course, our poisons medical experts in relation to this investigation.
We understand that last night police returned to the house where the meal was served. Can you tell us anything about the reason for that?
No, I can't. Last night? No, they were there on Saturday, and they returned there late on Saturday night.
It's been reported that there was a dehydrator that may have been used to dry the mushrooms that was disposed of. Is that accurate?
We've seized a number of what we call exhibits in relation to the matter. As to the detail of all of those exhibits, I won't go into them, but obviously a lot of the items that we have seized will be forensically tested in the hope that that can shed some light on what has occurred at the lunch on the Saturday.
So is the 48-year-old a suspect?
The 48-year-old is, well, yes, she is, and she is because she cooked those meals for us, for those people that were present. Now, again, she hasn't presented with any symptoms, but we have to keep an open mind in relation to this, that it could be very innocent, but again, we just don't know at this point.
Dean, would you say at this point you're expecting to charge someone?
Not at this stage, no. We've still got a lot of work to do. We need to understand what's caused these symptoms, what's caused ultimately the deaths of these three people, and we have a fourth person we've got to remember who is critically in a critical condition at hospitals.
I'll just stop it there for a second. I don't have an update about that fourth person, unfortunately. I haven't been able to find anything other than he's quite ill and he is waiting on a liver transplant right now, and that's his hope of survival. If he was to survive, it would have to be, I think they're saying it's a liver transplant. So I guess they're waiting for a donated one from someone who's passed away or been in an accident or something like that. it's you know, very, very sad. So I hope that happens. I hope that happens for them and he survives. But right now, I guess he's going to stay in hospital for at least the near future. All right, let's finish this off. This is courtesy of Channel 9. And you guys all know, probably seen Channel 9 before. We've used them a lot. They are great. All right, let's listen to the rest.
So we need to understand what has occurred, what is the cause of the injuries, symptoms to these people, and what has caused their deaths, and the circumstances surrounding all of that. So it's a very complex matter, and obviously we're working closely with medical professionals and Department of Health in relation to this.
When do you expect to know if it was in fact mushroom poisoning?
That could take some time. Again, I don't have a crystal ball, and I can't give you dates. But the testing, toxicology testing, there's a whole range of testing to be done, and that can take quite some time. And it's important that we get it right. It really is important that we get this right. We keep an open mind to this. It may be very innocent, but again, we just don't know. But it's really interesting. The 4 people turn up, and 3 of them have passed away, and with another one critical. So we just need to work through this.
Can you tell us the 48-year-old, the relationship between her and the 4 people?
Yes. Yeah, the woman that we interviewed on Saturday is the daughter-in-law of one of the couples. And what I can say is that that woman and her husband are separated. However, we've been advised that their relationship is amicable, and obviously they have 2 children together.
The 48-year-old, did she tell police what she ate?
I won't go into the detail in relation to what was said to us, but we're continuing to obviously investigate the circumstances surrounding it.
Was she cooperative? It wasn't a no comment interview?
Again, what she said to us is a matter for us, and we'll continue to work through what we were told during that interview, and obviously what we're picking up during the investigation.
All right, so there you have it. That was the Victorian Police providing an update. That was yesterday, actually. We have another one, which I think you'll find interesting compared to what we just listened to. I just got to find it. I've got like 100 links for this thing. All right. Oh, you're not going to let me do it? Ah, damn it. Hold on, let me see if this will work. If I replay it. They seem to have outsmarted us, and they won't allow us to stream from their site. Let me see if it'll work without it. All right. If I share this.
It's a tragedy what's happened.
Can you tell us about the meal that you cooked?
I'm so devastated by what's happened, by the loss of Don. Don is still in hospital. The loss of Ian and Heather and Gail, who were some of the best people that I've ever met. Gail was like...
Take your time.
Gail was the mum that I didn't have because my mum passed away 4 years ago. And Gail's never been anything but good and kind to me. And Ian and Heather were some of the best people I've ever met. They never did anything wrong to me, and I'm so devastated about what's happened.
Can you tell us
and the loss to the community and to the families and to my own children who've lost their grandmother.
Can you tell us a bit more about the lunch?
What I can tell you is that I just can't fathom what has happened. I just can't fathom what has happened. That Ian and Heather have lost their lives, and Gail has lost her life, and Donna's still in hospital, and I pray that he pulls through, because my children love him.
And you must be pretty shaken up by this as well.
I'm devastated. I love them. And I can't believe that this has happened, and I'm so sorry that they have lost their lives.
How are your
I
kids?
just can't believe it. Just can't believe it.
Can you tell us where the mushrooms came from? Were they picked from the property area?
I just ask you to leave me alone now, please.
Police say you're a suspect. Do you have anything to say about
Yes,
that?
I say I didn't do anything. I love them. And I'm devastated that they're gone. And I hope with every fibre of my being that Don pulls through. That's
Where
what I
did the
have to
mushrooms
say.
come from? Were they picked by you, or where did they come from, Mary? Can you tell us? What meal did you cook them? Did you eat the same meal, Mary?
There you go. That's the only source I have. Well, oops, let me stop this. Oh, let me get out of that. That's the only source I have for her speaking to the media. And I don't know what to think about it. It was a lot of emotion. It sounded like a lot of emotion, but, not a lot of details. That's the way I would put it. Very, very thin. But maybe she's been told by police not to say anything. And that could happen too because they're doing a investigation. So I don't know. I'm just a bit confused as why you would cook a meal, put so much effort into it, even if they're saying there could have been a dehydrator involved. If that is true and that she tried to throw the dehydrator away, possibly that was one of the things a media member brought up in the press conference, that there was a dehydrator involved and that it possibly was thrown away. It just sounds a little weird. And like, if you went to all that effort to dehydrate and make a meal and do this and that, why didn't you eat it? And why did you not test it while cooking? Like when people cook food, they test things. Oh, does it taste good? Does it need salt? Does it need, anything added? And I find that very strange that she's not one of the people that's sick. Her children were actually taken out of her care. Police were concerned for their well-being, and they have been removed from her care at this time. I don't know for how long, but at least for the moment, they are not with her. So all I can say is I hope this investigation is thorough and they find everything they're looking for. Look, if it's an accident, it's an accident, and a tragic one, real tragic. People dying with just from eating a meal that's probably everyone's worst nightmare, that you just eat something and pass away. So, and especially I read in the articles that these people were like well respected in their community, well loved, people, they knew everyone, a very close knit kind of family structure. They know their neighbors and people in the town. And so I don't want to be too heavy on them, because if it is a accident, then what can you do? So she's Lindy says, and she's the ex-daughter-in-law. Yeah, from what I understand, I think that's correct. That her and her husband had divorced, but they had remained friendly. It would be good to hear from him at some point. I guess that's what everyone wants, is his side of the equation. Laura Thomas says, I always have a sink full of spoons when I cook. Yeah, I think we all do. I cooked like Mexican last night, and I had like stuff everywhere that was like from taste testing or cooking something or touching stuff or preparing the meal. Laura G says, but if the food dehydrator was thrown away, that looks a little suspicious. Yeah, I think that's why the media was trying to bring that up. I'm not sure who that was or what publication that was from, but that video we just watched was from news.com.au, and that was the source. I'll provide the source in my links after as well. So if you'd like to watch it on their website, you can, and have another look at it. But yeah, I don't know what to think of the video either. It just seemed like a lot of nothing. They may have just caught her at a bad time, or you know, got her when she was getting groceries or something. But I don't know. I just hope that guy pulls through. The fact he's going to need like operations and dialysis and stuff. He must be going through hell. So yeah, I don't know if I have another source. Hold on. She just kept repeating how they were the best people she'd ever met. That Gail was like a mum to her because her own mum had passed away a few years ago. That they had never been anything but kind to her. That Ian and Heather were some of the best people she'd ever met. They're saying the community loss is quite large because they were well known. And yeah, I know yesterday we weren't sure what the poisoning was, but the police officer in that press conference said it was consistent with death cap poisoning, which really never ends well for most people who eat it. Most people die who end up eating it. It depends how much you eat. I think some people, there was a guy in Canberra who only had a very tiny bit and he survived. And I think he was quite ill for at least a couple of months. And he did survive. But the other people who ate the full meal all died, all passed away. And that's something similar as what happening in this one. Three of the people have died within 48 hours of ingestion of the meal, and there's one who's sort of hanging on. So I don't know how long this is going to take. It sounds like they're going to send a lot of this off to different laboratories for testing, and those can take quite a while. Lindy, were there any actual tears? I hate to be like that, but we've seen it before in true crime. I was just looking at the photos of her to see if I could see anything. It doesn't mean anything. Some people are just not good crying people, I guess, but I was having a bit of a look at one of her photos. I'll show you. There's a screenshot here. Share this tab. Let me just, this is one of the screenshots that was pulled and they had it on the website. And I hate to be that person. Let's zoom in and be like, pick at her face. And I'm not trying to do that. I'm just, this is just one of the screenshots they pulled. She looks very upset as far as I'm concerned. But I don't know what we're going to learn any more than that, but at least that information came out. We got confirmation from the homicide detective. He gave pretty good details, actually. Some of those details weren't known when I went live yesterday. And then she spoke a little bit, which is interesting because I think they were just trying to work out a lot of it yesterday of what was who and where was what. And it's interesting that they said what meals were served. So did they eat a couple of different meals that contained mushrooms? Maybe it was like sushi or something. What else would you do with dried mushrooms? Like some sort of like like a soup or risotto. Risotto uses like rehydrated mushrooms. Maybe something like that. They said the police are still unsure where the mushrooms were sourced from. Wouldn't she have told police where she sourced the mushrooms from? They're saying they're still unsure. How does that work? And the police are saying they are presuming at this point it is mushrooms. Homicide investigators said toxicology reports were being organized and there was a lot of work to do before police could land on any firm conclusions. So it sounds like it's going to be a little while until we have any firm kind of answers, I guess. Just be careful. If you go out there picking mushrooms, make sure you go with other people who know what they're doing, have done it many times, and have some sort of education in the background of wild foraging. It's really easy to get wrong. There's certain mushrooms that are from the same family and they look very similar. Some are edible and some are poisonous. I'm not kidding. They look almost very similar to the untrained eye. To a person who does it, they'll probably be able to spot the difference. But to people who don't know what they're looking for, it probably looks almost identical. Laura G. Hey, Laura G. I have dried cremini mushrooms in my pantry right now. I bought them at the Korean grocery store. I don't know those ones. Dried cremini mushrooms. Let's have a look. Never heard of cremini. Maybe it's got a different name here. Oh, are these type of mushrooms? Yeah, I know these ones. You see them in all the Asian stores in the little packs. Yep, I know these ones. They look like little half circles. You often see them, and they look like little domes when they're dried. I can't say I've ever had them. I don't think I've ever had them anyway. Oh, we call them maybe paddy straw mushrooms here. I think that's the name that we often see, not cremini. I think we see paddy straw is the one they use down here. Hold on, I just want to get her face off the screen. Just it's not very nice. Not that she's not a nice person, just that it's not nice to zoom in on someone like that. That's what I mean. Not that she's a bad person or whatever. Actually, here's a photo of the unfortunate people who passed away. That's Ian Wilkinson and Heather Wilkinson, both pictured, became severely ill. Miss Wilkinson died on the Friday while her husband remained in critical. So he's the one who's still alive, is it? He's the one who's still with us and fighting for life. I hope he pulls through. I really do. It's the last thing we want is people who are dying. Okay, so Gail and Don, these two were the ones that had already passed away. It's very sad. It's not something you want to ever think of. Hey, Avalon. Good to see you, my friend. Hey, Audrey. Hi, Ping. I think Mushroom Cook was ex-daughter-in-law of two of the guests. Yes, she was. We were talking about that before, but good to see you. Happy to have you here. Or Avalon says, a community outing where a lady made potato salad using potatoes she had canned caused 20 people to be infected with botulism and one passed. Oh my God. Oh, how terrible. That is not something you want or want to get near. I like the idea of storing food and using old techniques to make food last longer. It reduces waste and things like that. But you got to be so careful and you got to know what you're doing and how to look at things like when you open it, how to test it and make sure it's still okay. Not just rip a can open and be like, these are fine, let's just eat them. There's some little tricks to it that you have to be careful with. Yeah, Laura G says canning is something you have to be careful with. I think that's why a lot of people like to use the jar method with the steamed jars, where you put the jars in a pot and you steam and heat the jars up to a certain degrees. And then you fill them and then put the lids on slightly and then keep steaming them in a pot for a period of time. And I think that helps kill any germs that could gather in there over time. And I think that's the method I've seen used the most. I haven't seen many people do their own canning as such, more bottling or pickling and that type of thing for chilies and stuff like that. But yeah, if I get more updates on this, I will provide them. I just wanted to really come on and share this because I thought it was very interesting. Very interesting compared to yesterday. Like yesterday, we didn't know half of this, and now today we know a lot more. But it says here, yeah, her name is Erin Patterson. She's the one who hosted the lunch. All 4 guests became ill after they ate the meal, which included hand-picked mushrooms. Yeah, I'd need an answer as why she didn't eat it. I think the police, when they're ready, should release that reason. Maybe she doesn't like mushrooms and thought, I'll give them to my party because they're kind of fancy and it'd kind of be cool, kind of MasterChef. I made my own dried mushroom risotto or something, even though she doesn't eat it. Maybe. Yeah, it says here, Victorian Detective Inspector for the Homicide Squad, Dean Thomas, confirmed Erin was a person of interest as she cooked the meal. She hasn't presented with any symptoms, but we do have to keep in mind in relation to this, it could be very innocent. I don't know. I think we'll find out more by the end of the week. I just wanted to know what you all thought. Do you think it's accidental, or do you think it was something deliberate? I think that would be very interesting to. Can we put up a thing in the chat maybe? Let's have a look. Let's use the features of the. Let me refresh and let's see if we can do that. Oh, there we go. Start a poll. Let me see. I'll leave it running for as long as I can. There we go. Avalon Apple says, I just package and place things in the freezer. That's my level of skill with storing stuff. I can, piece things out and wrap them in stuff so it doesn't get freezer burn and freeze it in the chest freezer. But anything like jarring, canning, pickling, anything like that, I can't do. Making jams and things like that, nope. It's not something I'm able to do. You guys all have fun with Trish tonight. She always does a great show. I know she does a great show. I was actually working on all this and trying to make the channel work a bit better, but PB&J says, I don't think I ever made a dish I myself would not eat. I agree. That seems so foreign to me, especially with the way our family operates. Our family is like, always eating the food and sharing food and things like that. Lynn D says, throwing out the dehydrator makes me suspicious. Well, look, I don't know if that's official. Just that one of the media members did bring that up. And I think the police said they wouldn't comment on it. Just that they had taken a bunch of items as, evidence. So, don't know. We'll find out about that one. But yeah. I know a lot of people, we talked about last night on the Sunday show, we talked about what was going on in Alabama. That has taken on a life of its own. I was sort of having a look at it today just to see if anything had happened, if anyone had been arrested, that type of thing. I don't think anyone had been arrested, but people had made all like these funny movies out of it where it's like, it looks like an action hero movie. It was really, really clever and really, really funny. I was going to see if we could find it. I'll show it to you. If I can find it. If I can remember what the town is called too. It's Montgomery, I'm pretty sure. Let's see if this is it. No, that's the other one. There was a really, really great one where someone was... Yeah, it sort of looked like, the superhero movies you see. And it's like, Aquaman and all that. It was pretty good. How annoying. It was around before. No, I can't see it, unfortunately. That's a shame. Because it was whoever put the time and effort into it was quite clever. Look, I still have the same opinion as yesterday that if you bother people at work and you get in their way and stop them from doing their, what they're there to do, then you deserve all you can get. You really do. It's really a stupid thing to do. People are just there to earn their money and go home. They're not there to deal with your crap. That's a real shame that I can't find it. Do you know when you see a video and it's all over your playlist and then you come back to find it again, then you can't find it? That's exactly what's going on here. That's a shame. If I ever do find it, I'll retweet it on my Twitter. But this is probably about it for the mushrooms. I wanted to just, yep, it's about 40 past 4. I'm going to leave you in a second and love you. We'll do more updates from this channel in the future. I don't know if it'll continue to be true crime related. It'll probably be a little more breaking news. I'd like to do more in that. I think I've said that before. But and someone asked me before about the donation links. The donation link in the description doesn't work because the channel is too new. You apparently, to get a clickable link in your description, you need to wait 2 months of channel activity to be able to get a clickable link in the description. So that's why I did have it in the other chat. I think most people would know it anyway, but I'm not asking for anything for this channel. Just trying to build it up and get people here and subscribing and things like that. So it's not a big deal right now. It's just trying to get everyone in the one place. And, it was weird. I had a lady contact me. She's like, I had no idea you had a channel. I was like, we spoke about it for 30 minutes last night. So that's all. And that's it. We'll do another one when I can get an update on this, or we get a different case that I can't cover on Web Sleuths. That's kind of what this channel is going to be. It's going to be more about things that I can't do on the other channel. And that's what we'll do. Avalon Apple says, Josh Siemens said they will be releasing the identity of Peaches soon. There was an article last year where they thought they knew the familial tree of Peaches. They were looking for someone who had already died. They were looking for their family from the 1950s or something, and I think they were on the track of who she might be. I think they were pretty close. The article was last year. Let me just maybe we can have a quick look. I've got 10 minutes. I'm all excited now because we get to talk about Peaches. Yes, here it is. Share this link. So it says here, is the FBI close to identifying the murder victim known as Peaches? Investigators appear to be one step closer to identifying a woman and her young child whose murders have been unsolved for 25 years and were linked to the gruesome Gilgo Beach murders. Mobile Police Department in Alabama posted on Facebook that the FBI is seeking friends and families of Elijah Liggy, Howell or Howard, who lived in Pritchard, Alabama with his wife Carrie and died in Mobile. I think it's Mobile, Alabama. Correct me, Alabama people. In 1963, so he died many decades ago. With Lily Mae Wiggins, Packer. The agency included in the post a photo of the tattoo that was found on the unidentified Long Island murder victim, who is only known as Peaches. His relatives may be able to assist in the case of a woman and child who were found in another state. Does this tattoo look familiar? So that was last year. It sounded like they were whittling their way down the genealogy tree at the time. So they must have got it. They must have finally figured out who Peaches was, which is great. It's fantastic. If we could get them all identified, I think it would go a long way to, wrapping up most of this case, as long as we can tie the murders to someone, but at least giving the identity of the girls back is fantastic. And the guy, the unidentified Asian male, it would be nice if he could have his identity back too. His or her, I'm not sure how he identifies, I'm not sure because he's dead. The toddler and the male also, that'd be great. That'd be fantastic if we could get the identities of all of them Avalon apples. I'd be really, really happy. It's really blown my mind that a year ago I was still searching on this case, and now a year later we're almost done. Not done, but where we are able to close out a bunch of the murders that I just never thought we'd get anywhere with it. I really didn't. I really thought this was one of these cases where mistakes at the beginning had screwed it up so badly that we weren't going to get to the finish line. That's really what I thought. And, dedication by police and backtracking and having another look and being very dedicated has brought us this far. So hopefully we get to the end. That'd be nice. All right. Thanks for letting me know, Avalon. I appreciate that. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm so sorry about what happened earlier. I have to look into why the stream did not go live. That's really bizarre. But we'll be back. I'll be back when I can get an update, or we can get another case or story we can talk about. Maybe a giant shark will happen again, and we can talk about giant sharks again. Something like that. Maybe giant stingray this time. That's it from me. Good night. It's very late. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Please spread my channel to people if you think they haven't heard of it, or they're friends of ours that haven't, subscribed or whatever yet. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who made it here tonight, and leave a comment, please. I'd like to hear what you have to say about the mushroom investigation. That's it from me from Melbourne, Australia. My name's Ping. Good night, everyone.